Hello, my motor enthusiasts. You're tuned in to F1 Motor Fever podcast.
Hello, Enzo Watts. Our readers have been buzzing about this year's lineup, haven't they?
Indeed they have. William Turner. 2024 seems to be the year of the rookies.
Who are these future stars we should be watching out for?
We have a whole range of talents, from a 23-year-old Spanish racer who made history last year to a 16-year-old American signing with McLaren's driver development program.
Blimey, that's quite a spread. Are these drivers participating in various championships?
Absolutely. From the F1 Academy to Formula 2 and even the Formula Regional European Championship.
Can't wait to delve deeper into the careers of these young racers.
It's a thrilling time to be a motor enthusiast, that's for sure. Hey everyone, as always, this is your host Enzo, coming to you live from the heart of the motor racing world.
And this is your commentator William, ready to delve into the details of our thrilling sport.
We're thrilled to have you join us on F1 Motor Fever podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a beat of our action-packed discussions. Now, let's go full throttle. Let's dive right into our list of upcoming talents, starting with the Spaniard, Marta Garcia.
Ah yes, the inaugural F1 Academy champion. Quite a feat at just 23.
Indeed. She's aiming to conquer new grounds this year, moving up to the Formula Regional European Championship. A fully funded seat with Prema Racing, no less.
That's impressive. But from what I recall, she's not underestimating the competition, is she?
Not at all. She's well aware of the challenges ahead. Given her consistent performances last season, she's one to watch.
Speaking of consistency, we have Victor Martins next, correct?
That's right, the French racer had a brilliant venture into Formula 2 last year. 1 win, 9 podiums, and 3 poles.
Quite the record. Any plans for him in 24?
Nothing concrete yet, but there's high likelihood he'll return for a second campaign in Formula 2. After his F3 crown in 2022, he could be a title favorite.
Brilliant. And the next on our list, if I'm not mistaken, is a Brit.
Absolutely. Luke Browning, a young 21-year-old. Despite a last-minute call-up to the Formula 3 grid last season, he made his mark with some notable performances.
Quite the entrance, then. I'm eager to see what he brings to the table this year.
Now moving on, Luke Browning ended up 15th in the standings last year, which admittedly doesn't fully reflect his potential. However, he had a dominant debut at the legendary Macau Grand Prix.
Quite a contrast there. So, he's expected to be back with a vengeance in 24 then?
Yes, he's a likely title contender. Next up is another Brit, Abby Pulling.
Oh yes, the 20-year-old who returns for another F1 Academy campaign, as well as a return to British F4.
Correct. Despite her expected F1 Academy title challenge not materializing last season, she's not being ruled out as a contender this year.
Looks like she has a busy year ahead. What about the French racer, Theo Pourchaire?
Theo Pourchaire. Sealed the F2 crown in 2023, and now he's all set to compete in Super Formula in Japan. He's also the reserve driver for the Stake F1 team Kick Sauber.
Quite a leap. He came close to a spot at Sauber this season, didn't he?
Indeed, but now he's got the opportunity to show his prowess in a new championship. At only 20, he's still got plenty of time to prove himself.
We can't wait to see how these young talents perform. Who's next on our list?
It's another French racer, Doriane Pin, a 20-year-old with a fitting nickname, the Pocket Rocket. But let's dive into her story a bit later. Now back to Doriane Pin, the Pocket Rocket. After a successful stint in sports car and endurance racing, she's now a part of the Mercedes Junior team.
Isn't she the one who won the Revelation of the Year award in the FIA World Endurance Championship last year?
Correct, the first woman to achieve that. Now moving on to Dino Beganovic, a 19-year-old Swedish racer with Prema Racing in FIA Formula 3.
The Ferrari Junior. He's got some pressure to perform, hasn't he?
Indeed, he needs a smashing sophomore season if he wants a promotion to F2. Next we have Taylor Barnard, another Brit.
Didn't he surprise everyone with his performance in 2023?
Yes, from struggling in F4 to qualifying on the front row in Barcelona in F3, he's one to keep an eye on. Lastly, for now, we have Isaac Hadjar, a 19-year-old French racer.
He's moved up quickly in the ranks, hasn't he?
Rapidly indeed. Red Bull is keeping a close eye on him. He's set to join Campos Racing in FIA Formula 2. It's certainly going to be an exciting year for these young talents. Now let's revisit Isaac Hadjar. Helmut Marko likened him to a little Prost, quite a comparison.
That's high praise indeed. Not every driver gets compared to the great Alain Prost.
True. He had 2 FP1 appearances for Red Bull and AlphaTauri, but had a bit of a tough rookie F2 season. He'll need to reignite his F3 form from 2022. Now on to Gabriel Bortoleto.
The Brazilian racer, who had a phenomenal F3 season, right?
Indeed, he was quick out of the box with back-to-back victories in Bahrain and Australia. His consistency made him unstoppable. He's now a part of the McLaren Junior program.
It'll be interesting to see how he fares in F2. He's proven that he can certainly defy expectations.
Absolutely. Now another young talent is Zach O'Sullivan. This 18-year-old Brit had a successful switch to Prima Racing last season and finished vice-champion in F3.
And he's also had an FP1 debut in Abu Dhabi. A very promising racer.
Precisely. He's stepping up to F2 with Art Grand Prix and is eager to uphold their honors. I'm certainly excited to see how these racers perform this season. Now, let's discuss Gabriele Mini. Despite demonstrating the pace to contend for wins and podiums, costly errors marred his campaign last year.
But he's reuniting with Prima Racing, with whom he won the Italian F4 title back in 2020, right?
Correct. He's certainly hoping for more straightforward weekends to mount a title challenge. Next up is Oliver Bearman, all of 18 and already considered Ferrari's next big thing.
I've heard he's impressed in his 2 FP1 appearances for Haas. Quite a promising talent, isn't he?
Yes, he believes he's ready for F1 in 2025. After showcasing his raw pace in Baku, he's now expected to leverage his second-year experience. Now, let's talk about Josep Maria Martí.
Ah yes, the Spaniard who had a make-or-break season last year.
That's right. After an underwhelming rookie campaign, he bounced back with 3 victories. Now he's part of the Red Bull Junior stable. Last, in our list today, we have Andrea Kimi Antonelli, an Italian racer who's making the jump straight to F2.
Quite an unconventional move, isn't it?
Indeed. But his meteoric rise is notable. He clinched both the German and Italian F4 titles in his debut season, and he followed it up with the Formula Regional Middle East Championship and FRECA title double. Quite the journey. Andrea Kimi Antonelli is certainly one to watch out for. With the introduction of the new 2024 car, he's looking to capitalize and live up to the hype surrounding him.
It will indeed be exciting to see how he handles the step up, won't it?
Absolutely. Moving on, we have Ugo Ugochukwu, an American racer who's signed on McLaren's driver development program.
True, he's had quite the journey so far, finishing 3rd in British F4 in 2022, and then sealing the Euro 4 title. He's also preparing to step up to the Formula Regional European Championship.
Yes, he's certainly showing a lot of promise. Then we have Louis Sharp from New Zealand.
He impressed in British F4, didn't he?
Indeed, he finished 4th in British F4, and despite being too young to compete in the opening round, he managed to claim the title by 13 points in his follow-up season. Quite remarkable.
Absolutely. It's fascinating to see such young talent making their mark in motorsport.
Speaking of young talent, Arvid Lindblad, another British racer, is also making waves. He's the only rookie in Prema's F3 trio, but he's already off to a strong start in 2024.
I've heard about him. He achieved 3rd in Italian F4 last year and even won the Macau F4 race. He's definitely one to keep an eye on.
Continuing our discussion, let's turn our attention to Freddie Slater. At just 15, his single-seater career is just beginning.
He's already made quite a splash, hasn't he? Winning the 2023 FIA Karting European Championship in KZ2 and then the Ginetta Junior Championship.
That's right. He currently leads the F4 UAE standings, so we're all excited to see his progress in his dual Italian F4 and Euro 4 campaign. Moving on, we have René Lammers, another 15-year-old racer prepping for his single-seater debut.
He's the son of former F1 driver Jan Lammers, isn't he?
Yes, indeed. And he's already got a few titles to his name, including the 2023 CIK-FEA European Champion in OK class and the Ferrari Driver Academy World Scouting Finals.
These young talents are really making their mark. It's fascinating to see.
Absolutely. Before we conclude, let's not forget about Callum Voisin and Joseph Loke, two 2023 GB3 Championship title rivals, who will be stepping up to F3. Also, Red Bull junior Enzo Dellini, who was the top rookie in Spanish F4 last year, will be advancing to FRECA with R-Ace GP.
And let's mention Leah Block. The 17-year-old rally star is ready to swap off-road racing for her debut single-seater season in F1 Academy, backed by Williams.
Certainly, the future of motorsport looks bright with such promising talents. Lastly, a special mention to 13-year-old Lewis Werrell, who topped the FIA International Karting ranking. Quite an accomplishment. William, what's the latest buzz from the online motor racing community?
Well, let's see, Enzo. State Ledouai has posted, quote, McLaren urges F1 action over serious Red Bull AlphaTauri concerns, unquote.
Aha, the Red Bull AlphaTauri ownership saga.
Exactly. And there are some very interesting comments here. For instance, Austin Atler said, quote, the only beef I have with RB owning two teams is that it essentially guarantees that one of the teams, AT, will never be competing for a title, unquote.
That's a legitimate concern.
It gets more interesting. 10 Fingers 10 Toes added, quote, one season, an owner bought both the St. Louis Perfectos and Cleveland Spiders baseball teams. The Perfectos became the dominant team while the Spiders suffered. It's a complete disaster from a sports standpoint, unquote.
A fascinating bit of sporting history there.
Here's more. Chisiga chimed in with, quote, isn't this the reality of what F1 is, though? Every year, I don't think any reasonable fan expects much from more than 4 to 5 teams, unquote.
That's a debatable point for sure.
And finally, Dibbles12 made a comparison to football. Quote, it's the same thing in soccer. Barcelona's B team can compete in lower leagues, but can't earn promotion to La Liga, unquote.
Well, that's a different ball game altogether, but the analogy holds up. What's your take, William?
I think the fans have a point, Enzo. Owning multiple teams in the same league does raise questions about competition integrity. However, it's a complex issue that needs to be evaluated fully.
Well, that's a wrap for today, folks. We've had a cracking discussion on some controversial Formula One topics. Remember, your engagement fuels our passion, so please do subscribe, activate those notifications, and share your thoughts in the comments. And while you're at it, why not share our podcast with your mates and family? Share the love, and let's get everyone talking about the gripping world of motor racing.
Absolutely. And don't forget, we're like the punctual pit stop crew here every single day. So don't miss out on our daily dose of high-octane chat. Oh, and trust me when I say this, there are some truly exciting discussions just around the corner.
We're so grateful for your company and look forward to firing up the engines for our next episode. But until then,
pedal to the metal, keep your gaze on the road. Our channel's content is pure gold.